Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Thriving Families Africa Summit. And this session, we have Mama Olive, who is here. Hi, Mama Olive. So today she's gonna get real about single parenting as a single mom and the journey she's been through. It's a conversation that, many families relate to. And
Mm,
the good thing is that more and more people are talking about these spaces. I think that's one of
right,
the things that, I'm really excited that people are opening up about their experiences, as
right.
parenting as single moms or single dads. So I'm so happy to have you here, Tats. We've had many journeys together, and I'm just
Very.
so proud watching you unfold and just be so real and raw out there. So welcome to this session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carol. Honestly, firstly, I wouldn't even have been able to make it this far in my mothering journey without you. So I'm very happy to be here, honestly. And it's so interesting. You were talking about, like you can see more stories coming up. I was having this conversation yesterday with
Yeah.
somebody because I was sharing about, a weight loss journey that I'm on. That's separate to this conversation. However, I was telling her I'm so impressed with how you live your life. Just, you're so confident in the way you speak about your journey, and I drew inspiration for that because I was very scared about sharing my journey online. And then she also went on to say, well, actually, one thing I'm very worried about sharing online is like my single parenting journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that it hasn't ever like struck me that it would be such a scary thing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Your separation and then raising kids alone. Like I never really thought that people would have such a fear of that, or so I mean, I guess it's just to like add to what you were saying earlier, that a lot more people are talking about it now, which is great because it's we so many of us are going through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, because I work in that space, the bigger percentage of my clients are parenting alone or going through
Mhm.
separation or divorce, and just a lot of transitions going on. And I think
Right,
it's okay to have these conversations, to normalize
right.
it so that they see, and that you do that with such realness and rawness. And I know you have said that you don't find it difficult for you, it just comes naturally. But just tell us a little bit about your story and how you got here, and how you're just sharing, your journey
Online.
details with such authenticity.
Honestly, it just happened by accident. So, Dr. Carl, but like for everyone who doesn't know, I'm actually a photographer. And I think, I got pregnant 8 years ago with Olive, almost 9. And I was just sharing my story to my small following. I mean, I had on Instagram my friends and family, just like everybody else. So I was just talking about my pregnancy and what life is like and the things I was experiencing. And slowly but surely that page was growing. And then in COVID, I had such a good following that when we couldn't even leave our houses, people started hiring me to, use my platform to. Now it became a business.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think it's been really interesting to share online. And I think one of the reasons I've been so open is because then other people open up to me as well. And as much as I might be helping somebody, I've received so much help and so much support. So there are times where I felt like extremely alone, and I've been able to share something online, and you just get like a flood of DMs, encouraging you, cheering you on, giving their experiences. And I think that to me has been so important and so helpful, and has made me definitely feel a lot less lonely in my journey. Because
Mhm.
even sometimes when I look back about some of the things I share, and I'm like, I really overshared or something like that. And then I just think about why I did it. And it's because so many people were just offering a helping hand, or it just felt like a place for me where I could get support. So I've really enjoyed sharing my journey online. I mean, I think how I got to single parenthood, it that that it is what it I was in a relationship and it just wasn't working anymore. And we had tried for so long, at least I had really put on in effort. I think it was like 7 years,
Mhm.
and I was pregnant with my third baby, and it was always on and off. And there, I won't go into necessarily the problems that happened, but there were many problems. And at one time, I decided to leave,
Mhm.
and it was really scary because obviously you have 2 kids already, and I already wasn't married. So you can imagine, like, now the public perception of, firstly, you have kids without being married. And to me, that wasn't important. It was like if you're in love and you're building a family. And I've come from family. I mean, my family also has. I've come from like a family that has. I have family who are not married, but they have built a life together, whether that's with kids or without. So I'm used to the idea of like you don't necessarily have to be married to be able to have a family. And I was also young. And so, yeah, I was pregnant with my third, which already was just like, what are you doing? And I was really scared to make that decision because I'm like, now everybody's gonna judge you like you're a failure, firstly, and you've been so in love online so publicly. That's another added thing to my story that I felt was really scary. Not only am I failing in my circles and like what will my family think? What will his family think? But what will everybody online think? And so it was really, really scary. But I reached a point at the time where I was like, this is not working for me, for the kids, and it's just not a good situation. So it was the best situation I could make at the time. And honestly, I'm so much happier. I am so much happier. And that's not to say, I mean, where I am right now with my ex, we're trying to figure out co-parenting at this point. Right now, it's taken quite a long time, but I am just so happy with the life that I'm living and the peace of mind that I have coming home, and not having to worry about one extra person. Having to worry about kids alone is enough, and then having to worry about an extra person, it was really taking a lot from me, and I was really mentally, I wasn't healthy. And I think it took now getting back to loving myself and knowing what my boundaries are and valuing myself, and yeah, I'm just in a happier space being a single mom
Yeah.
and raising my three girls. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do it with so much honesty, with so much grace. And out there, we see the ups, we see the downs, we see the celebrations, we see the wins.
Right.
The things I see, I've really just seen with you, Tats, you're not afraid to give something a try. Oh, let's try homeschooling. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try this, and you just keep going and keep going. It gives a lot of people watching you courage to be able to say, you know what, it's not the end of the world. Let's give this.
Mm,
Let's give it a try.
right.
Just
Right.
talk to us a little bit about those ups and downs as a single mom in that.
Right.
And on top of that, now you're saying that you are figuring co-parenting. Maybe you can speak a little bit into that if you're
Okay.
comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the ups and downs. I think it's the thing is, I have a really great village. I've hired great help who are now family. People who follow me know my dad is always around. Like every day, my kids get to be with him, and very close with my mom and my sister. I have a really great support system. Having said that, I do think that it is just so extremely difficult. I always start crying with you. Anyway, it's so incredibly difficult because I feel like, as much as you have all this support around you, when they're sick or when they want you and I'm very keen on being a very present parent. So it's really important for me to be there for all of their milestones, for all their ups and their downs and all their school things. So, I mean, I might push myself a little extra too hard sometimes, but I really feel like it's important for me to be there for them, especially because the other parent isn't here, even if they have my parents and the nannies and like all this kind of things. And I think that it's most difficult like when they're sick because there are just like so many sleepless nights and you don't have anyone to like help you with that. And I think that for me has been the hardest thing about single parenting, or one of, because like it really messes with you. One night of no sleep and you're irritable, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, you have work, you can't think properly, and then this goes on for weeks because I have three. So one is sick one week, the next is the next week, the other one is 3 weeks. So while they're recovering, I'm like constant 3 weeks of no sleep, and it becomes really difficult. And these are the nights where I'm like, oh, I really wish I just had a partner to help me through these seasons. That's where I really think about that a lot. But I think just like any other parent, we all go through ups and downs. And I think owning that what I've learned from being online is like owning your narrative takes away this like other people's strength over you or other people's power over you. Yeah, I think you reclaim your power when you're able to just talk on a situation very honestly and vulnerably. And I think, yeah, actually gives you power rather than when people are saying like vulnerability gives you weakness. I think it's the other way around. And I think that I've just seen so many other parents are going through something similar to me. And so when I share and I'm able to see that other people are also going through it, also makes me feel a little less lonely, a little less crazy. And that's what actually prompted me to start Motherhood Unplugged, which is where I get to help other moms and be helped by other moms and be part of a community of people that truly get what we're going through. So it's been such a great journey. I think even sharing the ups and downs and yeah, just owning that you're part of motherhood when you're saying, this is hard, but I love being a mom, but it's just genuinely very hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So yeah, I think it's been such a great journey. I mean, there are times you get those trolls, but I love sharing online, and I love being that voice for somebody else to know that you're okay. Everything will be okay. You know, like you said, trying homeschooling. I got so much hate for that, I think. But I also got so many people who are like, I'm so grateful that you shared that, because my kid has been going through XYZ, and now I get to also focus a little bit more on them and what their needs are. And that makes me so happy to hear that people are giving their kids, like giving them more care, or even simple things like, oh, I see how you let your kids play in the mud and get dirty, and now I've allowed my kids to be more free. And that for me is like such a fulfilling something that somebody could tell me. Like the fact that I'm giving kids the chance to be kids is amazing. It's an amazing like compliment, I think. So I love that aspect of being able to share online and meet other moms. And yeah, and then also I'll get stopped, like even today I was stopped, like, I love your parenting journey and you've been able to inspire me in XYZ. And like, again, that's just for me, like, wow, just what I'm sharing about my life is inspiring people, and it's so nice. It's really, really nice. So um yeah, sharing the ups and downs, I just think is part of life, and I feel like it just gives me my power back, because I get to own my story.
Yeah.
And then in terms of co-parenting, yeah, it's taken us a lot of back and forth. Again, like without going into specific details of like what our relationship is like, there have been so many problems or so many ways in which I've felt. Yeah, so I used to take care of like everything, and I think there were times where they would send money and stuff like that, but it would not be equivalent to what's going on in our life. And for me, I was just so frustrated that I reached a point like earlier this year where I kind of had to really draw some boundaries. And it gets harder. The school fees gets more expensive. What they need on a monthly basis gets more expensive. And it's just really unfair for somebody who also has to take care of all the responsibilities on the ground, meaning without even financially, just like packing, making sure their bags are packed, and making sure, yeah, all the mental load of like taking care of a kid, and even just like your presence, dropping and picking from school and taking them to after school activities and taking them to their friend's house, because obviously now they're 8 and 6 and 3, they have social lives and they have things they want to do, and being physically present, it takes a lot. Mentally, it takes a lot. Outside of financially, I feel like financially is such a small thing compared to like your physical and mental presence. And so I took a lot of me of like fighting back and forth to make sure that we get to this point. And so far, he's also not in the country. So far we've agreed to split some of the costs, which have been fantastic, and has really relieved me of some things. Like it was always a stress every month. Like, am I going to make it? Am I going to manage school fees? Am I going to manage to pay the staff? Am I going to manage to pay rent? And that was really, really, it was taking a toll on me, and it was really stressful, and I would be getting moments of depression about it, and like even I couldn't show up as a good parent sometimes because I'm too stressed about what's going on in my life. So being able to be at this point now where we're able to split expenses and even just be on good talking terms while there are still like issues we're going through, I think it's just such a relief. And I'm just really grateful that we're at this point in time, because I really needed the help. Yeah.
And again, just, out of that authenticity, you're like, okay, what do I need to do? I need the help. So
Yeah.
you sometimes you drop a lot of, the fights and everything just for the sake of that. And
Yeah.
I know it's not easy. I know, because also I work with parents in that space. I'm also in a co-parenting space. It's going great now, but hey, it's been 12 years. It's been 12 years working on it. So I think just people realizing that it's a process, that it's gonna get nasty, it's gonna get messy as you start. You're gonna ask yourself, you weigh the pros and cons. Is it worth it? Is it worth it dealing with this person? Because I do need the support. And how does that look like? What can I do to work on myself so that I'm okay? And whenever I have to interact with this person, we're just cordial and courteous.
Exactly, just cordial. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think that I wish more parents just concentrated on the kids rather than, what's going on between. Because because at the end of the day, we just need to make sure we're doing what's best for the kids, and that's it. And I wish more people could just reach that stage like immediately. There's no need to go through all the bickering and the fighting and the back and forth and like making our kids suffer for nothing. So yeah, that would be my one thing. Like I also hear some horror stories out there about some of the things that parents put kids through, and I'm grateful that we have not done that. But if parents could just realize it's only about the kids and that's it, like it would be so much easier.
It would be.
Yeah.
Sometimes our own pain and our own feelings get in the way, and that's where really a process of healing is needed.
Yeah.
Getting there immediately is almost impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
process of healing is needed. But
Yeah.
there are things many people have believed, myths, perceptions around single motherhood, both good and bad. What are some of
Right.
these?
I think the biggest one that like the biggest comment that I feel like I got a lot was I feel like people are always blaming the mom or the person who stayed.
Yeah.
But more than not, I feel like that's the mom.
Mm.
I know there are a lot of single dads out there who are also doing their part of the work and putting in the effort and all of that. But more often than not, I see that it's a single mom who stayed, and it's all the blame always goes on the mom. So I think that for me was the biggest thing that I got. I didn't see a lot of other misconceptions. I haven't noticed others. It's just like, why did you decide to leave, or you should have tried harder, or you have yeah, just always putting blame on me for a situation that people know nothing about. Yet I'm the one who has, I'm on the ground doing the daily work.
Mhm.
So that to me was one of the biggest things I had to get through.
Mhm.
But then also, I didn't know there was such a stigma around being a single mom. To be very honest with you, yeah, and that's from hearing other people's stories. And I had no idea, never had that crossed my mind. I mean, it crossed my mind just for the separation aspect. You've been together, you have all these lovey-dovey photos on Instagram. I'm like, being the person who's like in the public eye, and what will your family think that now the thing has failed? That was where I had my
Mhm.
that's where my mind was. But I had never thought, oh wow, like there's such a huge stigma around this. You should, yeah. I
Okay.
didn't know that. Yeah.
It's there, and you're
Yeah.
right. It's more of why didn't you stay? You should have worked harder. You could have.
Yeah.
But I think also more than anything is when you are asking yourself those questions, you're not able to give an answer,
Right.
It won't stop people from talking, but just being able to
Right.
say, this is my truth, this is my story, this is why I left, really gives
Right.
a lot more strength, keep
Yeah.
and even silence the voices, right?
Right. And I think even one of my biggest comments back to everybody was like, you think people start this journey to get here? Like, no one
Yeah.
starts this journey to
Yeah.
get where we are now.
Right.
If, of course, I would have wanted the fairy tale ending, but that's just not the case.
Mm.
And it's not that, yeah. So I think sometimes I wonder how people start thinking, having these ideas, because I'm like, everyone wants to be in a loving relationship with a wonderful partner who, like, we split the tasks equally, and like everyone wants that. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to get here, but here we are anyway,
Mm.
regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really seem to have found your voice in the different spaces. So how have you learned to trust yourself and say, okay, this is the decision I'm going with and I'll go? How have you learned to do that?
Right. It took some time, I think, but like, firstly, therapy, working with you as a parent coach, those are all things that really helped me a lot. I think, yeah, I mean, that's why I meant when I first had Nova, the issues that I went through, and being able to just go through life with you at that point in time just really helped me see that I was making the right decisions. Even like homeschooling was something I went through with you. So that was very, very helpful to me. But I think also just realizing that we're all doing the best we can, and we're all trying to raise our and we can't all do it the same. Not even none of my kids are the same. So how would you imagine that everyone's kids are going through the same thing and need the same sort of yeah. So it just clicked for me at one point in my parenting journey that I know my kids the best, and I know what's best for them. And yeah, I think I don't know when it actually clicked, but it somehow just clicked for me on my journey, and I just realized that, yeah, I'm doing the best that I can for my kids, and they're loved, and they're healthy, and they're happy, and we are generally doing what other kids are doing at their age. It's not like we're behind on anything because of homeschooling or whatever it might be. So yeah, but regardless of that, I think that obviously there are always days where I feel like, should I be doing something else? That never stops, and I think that will never stop. Did I make the right decision? Oh, I got angry with them today, I'm feeling bad. Like, maybe you're going to bed and you're just regretting some of the things you did that day. That's always there. Every single day, there's something I wish I did differently. There's something I wish I could be doing differently every single day. But then sometimes there are those moments, those like hugs they give you or whatever, and you're like, this is we're perfect. We're doing perfectly fine. And I think it's those small moments that make you know that you're doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's okay again to know that both can coexist. I think
Yeah.
we ran after that one of I made mistakes, and that because that's how we are wired, to just focus on what's not working. But
Yeah.
what I've learned in this journey is to know that both can coexist, the good
Right.
times and the bad times, and not
Right.
over amplify those negative moments like it's the end of the world. And whatever mistake, quote unquote, that we make, there's always
Right.
time, there's always opportunity to repair. you know
Right. And that's the one of the biggest lessons I learned from you, repairing. And that's helped me so much. Like taken away some of the guilt, and like also being able to connect after you've done something that you feel like, you should be repairing for.
Mm,
That's been such a helpful tool.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now you're brave to really be yourself, knowing that, yeah, I don't know how this will, affect, but let me just do what I need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Things are bad. There is always opportunity to repair.
Right, there is, yeah. And I think also just giving yourself some perspective. I mean, I don't think this should be the case, but there are times where I'm just like going down the road and you see like kids on the side of the road, like just having to sit there as their moms. Like, really, in the grand scheme of things,
Mm,
we're doing really well.
mm,
Um, yeah, just having a roof over our head, being able to play, having a garden. I mean, there are things, maybe opportunities, like you're like my kids' friends always going to Europe, things like that. Okay, fine, but like look at some other people who don't get to do anything. Like we're doing really well, and my kids are able to do so many other things that, yeah, fine, we haven't traveled to Europe, but we're going to Diani, and that's a beautiful location. It doesn't have to be so I think just giving yourself perspective with different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be about looking at kids in disadvantaged situations, but just, yeah, I mean, perspective is really important.
it is. Perspective.
Yeah.
Like they say, it's everything, really. Just
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
back and also be in a place of gratitude.
Yeah.
So as we think about, and I know we've said a lot of strategies and practical strategies and all that, but what are some of the others that you've just like, for you to thrive as a single mom? This is not the
Right.
perfect way, but these are some of the things that you can do. What are some of those strategies?
Firstly, block out the noise. I think that's just number one. I mean, no one knows how hard it is to be a single parent but us, and people will always try and put you down for what we're doing.
Mm.
But like, I just feel like recognizing that we're superheroes. Number one,
Yeah.
all parents are superheroes, but especially a single parent. I'm sorry, but I said it.
Mm.
Okay, because like what we have, like the hoops we have to go through to
Right.
make sure that our kids are where they are is insane. Like I think I get validated sometimes when I see people online and they're like, my husband has traveled for a week and my God, my life this week has been, and I'm like, yeah, exactly.
And that's
That's our
just
life
a week.
always. Yeah. And that's our life every day.
Right, right.
So I think, we are really doing an insane amount of work that
Mm,
I think sometimes we don't see, but we really, truly are. And we're not meant to do it alone.
mm,
So even the fact that we are, I just think in itself, like, like pat ourselves on the back for that.
mm,
And then I think obviously, yeah, having a support system is so important. I think Motherhood Unplugged, I'm throwing that out there just because I do feel like it is very helpful. Every time I go to the session, I get help personally, hearing other people's stories and being able to connect with other moms and finding people who are, on the same wavelength as you and being able to I think that's so important.
mm,
Having mom friends also is so important, because as much as your friends could be a great support system, they could never understand what you're going through as a mom
mm,
if they're not going through it themselves.
mm,
So having other friends who are going through something very similar to you is so important, because then you're able to like talk about your things so openly and honestly.
mm,
And that to me has been very, very important. Uh, Hiring help. There was a point in time, I got shamed for not having help, and then I got shamed for having too much help. And I'm like, I can never win. I'm still very present. I have two nannies, but I'm still very, very present. And but having them has really allowed me to do, to work. I would not be able to work without them. And so, and even the days where I need some rest and I need to take some time for myself, which doesn't happen often, they're around. So yeah, hiring a village is also really important, is also a tool. Um, yeah, that I'm so grateful that I've been able to get to this place where I'm able to hire that much help. Even like having a driver now, which I was talking to, like as a single parent, being so stretched, like school pickups. I had two different school pickups and school drop-offs. So then I had after school activities, like I said, and I have work as well on my own. So like it was really crazy for me having to try and juggle all these like I felt like I was just in the car 24/7.
Yeah.
And that was driving me crazy. I wasn't able to work efficiently. It was really bad. So even hiring a driver has been really helpful. Even if I'm, by the way, still doing the school pickup and drop offs, I work in the time that I'm in the car when
Yeah.
the kids are not there, you know? And for me, that's opened up so much time for me.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think those are some of the things I do as a single mom.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like not being shamed into being social because there are times where moms are like, oh, yeah, you know, you need to go out and you need to be by it. And for me, I'm like, don't want any of that. I didn't want to do any of those things. So being able to just be okay with the fact that I'm not social and I want to be at home and I'm not seeing my friends and just be comfortable with the fact that. And like, it took me some time because I was always like, oh, other moms are going out and having fun and I'm just being this homebody and I'm not seeing anybody. And like that really affected me as well. And I just came to a point where I was like, actually, no, I love this. And there'll be a point where I want to start being more social and being more out. And but right now, like I don't have the energy for it and I don't want to do it. And that's okay. So just being comfortable in the situation or what you want for yourself, just being comfortable in that is key. I
Uh,
don't know. What else have I done? I don't know. I think that let me look for tickling
okay.
my nose, sorry.
Okay, it's all right. You've done it. What else have you done? Whatever you've done it very authentically. And I think what it is you started was cut out the noise, cut
Yeah.
out the noise. Whatever it is you have done, you've done it following your own scent and following your heart.
Yes.
And I love what you're doing with Motherhood Unplugged. So maybe just tell us a little bit of what's going
About
on there. Yeah.
basically, firstly, also following your scent that came from you, following my scent. So I'm telling you, I think basically as a single mom, all you have to do is see Dr. Carol, and then you'll be fine. You know, that's it. Um, but Motherhood Unplugged is basically so during pregnancy and having the kids. You know, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the loneliest thing I've ever been through, which is why I share so much. And then I realized just moms need more support than we're getting, and maybe a more community, more of a village. I also feel like there's so much misinformation being put out there and stuff like that. So if I can have a platform, so I created a platform where firstly there's a community, a place where moms can feel less alone, feel valued, feel seen, whatever it is you're going through. We all understand and we're all going through. You know, you're not crazy. That was very important for me. And then at these events, I also have experts coming, like you've come and other experts have come and talking about whatever it might be. And I think that has been really helpful because moms have gained some information on different topics of raising kids,
Mhm.
which is so important. And I think, you know, sometimes yeah, it's nice to hear from experts about whatever it might be. I mean, we've had also like mom boss event where we're just learning about how to juggle being an entrepreneur and being a mother, and like that's very helpful. And then learning about parent coaching and like how to raise kids. And I mean, just in we had some about like menstruation and sex ed, and so I feel like these are really important topics that we don't necessarily have all the time. So having that space where people can come, moms can come and learn as well as be part of a community, that's what my aim is. And I have so many hopes and dreams and goals, which I've talked to you about
Mm.
for that page, but it's growing and slowly and surely. And yeah, hopefully soon there'll be more coming from that page. But at least for right now, it is just for moms to find their community and find like-minded people and be supported.
And get
Yeah.
the resources that they need for the different
Yeah,
kinds of needs.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I really, it's growing, and it's growing slowly and surely, and also very
Yes.
organically. I have just watched you also as you launch it and do this activity and that activity, but we all need that kind of community. And we say a village, so the village may not necessarily be with the people that you know, but the people
Yeah,
shared interests, the people that you have shared
exactly.
challenges, that you're going through. So I really wish you the best with cheering you
Thank
on with Motherhood Unplugged. Really excited.
Thank you. Oh, you're definitely part of it. Like, you know, you've been there since the beginning and I'll always be calling you for every, yeah. I'm looking for, there's so much in store and I'm, you know, I'll be calling you at all, all checkpoints.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it grow. So as we touch down now, just any final words of wisdom from Mama Olive
Oh
for
my
moms,
gosh, words of
you know,
wisdom.
or just, something to encourage moms out there going through the murkiness of figuring this out,
Wow.
parenting, work, mental load, everything. What of encouragement can you give?
Firstly, we'll always get through it. We always do.
We
I feel
do,
like we've
right?
been, yeah, we always do. Like we've
Yeah,
been through the
yeah,
toughest days, yet we're still here and we're still pushing on.
right.
So, bad days end. Bad days end. And yeah, so like sometimes I've had a bad day. I'm like, God, this life is so bad. But it's actually not. It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life. And I also think like our kids don't need all the stuff that we think, like they don't need all these things that we've imagined in our heads that they need. And I think just your love and your your love and your support and your presence is all a kid needs to thrive.
Mm.
And I think that's so important because we try and we want to give our kids the world, and literally the world for them is just like us. So yeah, we're enough. I'm trying to tell myself that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're enough just as we are, and they just want us to be there. That's it. They don't care about money, and they don't care about traveling, and they don't care about all these things. They just want us in their lives. So if we can make the time to like spend time with our kids,
mm,
I think that's already like 80% there. Like we're 80% done.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be my biggest piece of advice. Like they just need us. So yeah, we don't need to stress ourselves about all this other stuff we see other parents doing, or we're enough the way we are. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's
No, that's true. That's true. And when you're saying when you do that, when you're present, you're 80% done. It really
yeah,
is true. Sometimes a lot of things we think we are not enough of, it's ourselves and what it is that we are telling ourselves. So again, that
right.
keeps circling the work back to ourselves. And there's
Yeah,
little moments. I mean, I've been having conversations with people in this summit, and one of the things that's really coming through is the things that we do for our kids in terms of being present, even just 30% of the time, just
right,
30%. Because you get this one thing and you think, I have to do it all the time. But if you do
right.
it just
Yeah,
like 30 out of 100 times or 3 out of 10 times, it's enough. And your kids will be
right.
okay. So that we cut
Yeah,
ourselves some slack, and be more
exactly.
ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly. We really need to cut out. We are just, yeah, I don't know why we really pile a lot onto us. We really do. And I get it. It's like, I mean, we're the most precious things in our life are like what we're working so hard for.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
we don't
again, like
give
I
it
feel
our
like it's this
all.
age of
Yeah.
yeah, this age of social media and this age of everything is just making us feel like we need so much more when we don't. Yeah.
And yet
Yeah.
it's social media also that's exposing us to such realness and such communities as well. So
Exactly.
I think again, circling back to just finding your voice, owning your narrative, and being able to know that you are enough.
Sorry. So a call was coming in. I was doing this. What was the last question?
No, I didn't ask. I was
Oh,
sort of concluding and saying it circles
oh,
back to finding your voice, owning your narrative, and just knowing that what you're doing is enough in the moment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Tats, for keeping this real and relatable and authentic. And yeah,
Thank
as
you for always like letting me release. I feel like I always thank you.
yeah. So for those who are watching, of course, I'll share this Tatiana's resources as well as part of the summit resources, and you can plug into Motherhood and Plug and all the amazing work that she does as Mama Olive, including the photography and all that. You will
Thank
find all
you.
that in summit resources. And thank you so much for making the time. I know you're squeezing this between many other things, and I
Of any time, I'm here anytime, and thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it was a nice conversation.
thank you. I enjoyed it
Yeah.
as well.